So Marie, this is my little warehouse here,
Excellent.
which I make all my candles, as you can see.
Beautiful.
I do everything from the packaging to shining all the copper and so forth, and I do it all by hand, and I personally do it myself.
Whilst 10 years ago the scented candle market in Australia was non-existent, today the Australian sector is worth $200 million every year. And every high street gift shop has a selection.
Samara and Mila started about a year ago. I had a bit of a tragedy in my life where my best friend passed away with cancer. So it made me really reevaluate where I was going, what I wanted to do. I just really wanted to do something different.
Like many small businesses, Dee has struggled with identifying her niche in a saturated market.
A niche market is really important for businesses because it allows them to hone in on a segmented group of people and develop marketing messages that align with their brand so that their followers become their biggest advocates. So there are 5 things that we need to do in order to develop a niche market. The first is to really understand your product and positioning. The second is to identify and develop that ideal customer and their personas online. The third is to understand what motivates these people to purchase your products. The fourth is to develop that story. And the fifth is to remain consistent and constant over a various range of platforms.
5 great steps there, but where do you start?
My first step would be to understand how the product is in its current market. So its price, product, place and position. What are people looking for when they come to purchase one of your candles? How are they expecting to purchase it? Where do they expect to purchase it and for how much? So once you understand your position in the market, you can then take that and understand where you are in relation to your competitors.
And then, after you've defined your product and position, you should look at your ideal customer and developing their persona.
So for yourself, there is actually a new defined kind of market out there called the digital mum. So the digital mum, they focus on accessing information online. In about 55% of all cases, they'll access information online before they make a decision to purchase. On average, about 70% of them actually curate content per month themselves on their social media platforms. So if you do acquire them as a customer base, you are able to hopefully get their friends involved as well so that they want to share their story about how they purchased your brand.
Oh, okay.
So after you've, I guess, created your position and product, and you found out who your ideal customer is and their persona, you really need to develop your story. So what we need to understand is what's behind the brand and what makes it tick. You can do that in various ways online by having your website have content funnels, describe your story in segments that are easy to manage. So being able to understand what motivates someone to purchase your product will enable you to be able to position it better so they can find it and access it and commit.
Great.
Earlier in the show, Marie Nowdy spoke to Dee Leacher about how to identify a niche market for her boutique candle business. You don't need to continually reinvent your brand. However, every business should revise their strategies to keep up with savvy new entrants that penetrate the market.
In the last 2 years alone, we've seen so many things happen with the likes of mobile and Facebook and targeting and website design. So it's really important that I guess you're forging partnerships with organisations that are always looking at the next step. So for example, we know that adults aged 18 and above spend an average of 35 hours per week accessing the internet via their mobile phones, compared to 25 hours on PC. So we really want to be making sure that we're staying ahead of the curveball here by designing a website or having an experience on mobile that is taking it to the next step.
And some tips for helping you create a mobile-friendly website is to take into account navigation.
And how many clicks it takes the purchaser to go from your homepage to a product page and then through to the purchasing cycle. So you really want to make that process as easy as possible. We know that we've got about 4 seconds to make an impression, but that actually reduces a lot on mobile.
Obviously, I'm still familiarising myself with Instagram and so forth.
Yes.
But I find, and I've been told, that a lot of people actually pay for followers.
But the problem is when you buy them, they don't do anything for the brand. It's just the number that sits at the top there saying how many followers you have. You really want to create an organic following. And you can do that through hashtagging as people search those through their phones and mobile devices.
And when it comes to how much you should be posting, Marie has this handy tip.
You don't want to bombard people. You don't want to be putting posts up about sale items or how much a candle costs. That they can go to their website for that. Social media is definitely where they engage in that two-way communication. Find the point where people stop reacting to a post. There are many social media channels, but the important thing is that you really need to find where your demographic or your niche market sits in those, because there's no point in having a profile across them all if only 2 of them speak to the people that you're wanting to target.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for dropping by the KBB YouTube channel. If you want a whole lot more where this came from, press the subscribe button and it will open a Pandora's box of great videos that not only are educational, full of great advice, but also really inspiring. Just what we need as small business owners.